If you're thinking about moving to Mexico, the first thing that you need to do is hop on Facebook. And not to post, "I'm moving to Mexico, does anyone have advice?" It's actually something much more helpful, and in this video, I'll show you what you need to do next. I'm Brighton, and my wife Kat and I moved to Mexico last year, part of the year. We're in our 50s, and I'm creating this YouTube channel to help other people get to Mexico before they turn 65. So if you're thinking about moving to Mexico, or you're already down there, be sure to click the subscribe button and the little bell icon for future updates. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I like to end with a 20-second lesson, and I'm going to share a little bit of an embarrassing story about my wife, and then an accompanying 20-second lesson so you don't fall into the same embarrassing situation. So let's hop on over to Facebook so I can show you what you need to do. The first thing that you need to do is join Facebook groups. This is probably, in my opinion, the best thing there is about Facebook. So the first one is called Expats in Mexico. And this is John Garvin is running this group. So once you're in Facebook, just go to the little magnifying glass icon and type in Expats in Mexico. And you'll see here a list of groups. Actually, if you scroll down the left-hand side, you can highlight just groups. So there's a number of different options: U.S. expats living in Mexico, expats in Mexico, expats in Mexico. So I started with the group that has 55,000 members, or probably a little more by the time you watch this video. And this is just a group of expats living in Mexico. People ask questions and people post answers. And to join a group, just click join in the upper right-hand side. You might have to answer a few questions to make sure that you're not a spammer or a Russian bot, and then expect to be added to the group within the next 24 hours or so. So this is great, especially for general questions about Mexico. Now, before you post your question here, there's a good chance that it's already been answered. So be sure to search through the group. And you'll see here that there is a different search button. So not the one that's in the upper left, which searches all of Facebook, but the one that's associated with the group. And if you're using a mobile device, the icon might be in the exact same spot, but when you click it, you'll see that it tells you what you're searching, whether it's all of Facebook or just a specific location like the group you're in. So look at the little magnifying glass there, and you can type something in like, home insurance. And then you can scroll down and see all the different people who've asked questions about home insurance, and you can see all the answers. So let's see here. There's 12 comments, 3 comments, 8 comments. So usually there's a number of comments. If it's something a little more controversial, there might be 50 to 100 comments. And speaking of things that are controversial, stay out of politics in these groups, unless the group is specifically there for discussing politics. Usually it's in the rules to stay out of politics, both American politics and Mexican politics. And it's actually against the law to discuss Mexican politics if you're not Mexican. So you want to stay out of political rallies. You want to stay out of commenting on Facebook and getting involved in things that are political, because that's really reserved for people who are citizens of Mexico. So the second group that you need to join has to happen after you select a location to live, or maybe in the process of selecting a specific location. My wife and I live in La Paz, so we searched out some Facebook groups for La Paz. Once again, over to the search bar, and we can type in expats La Paz and search. Down to groups. So we're only seeing groups here, and you can see a number of groups that show up here. Obviously not Bolivia, but a number of options here. Now, you can also do a little bit more digging. I found that a lot of these groups use the word gringo in them. So gringo. And you can find a couple of other similar groups that might not have the word expat in them. But these are really helpful groups once you want to do things like, let's do a search here for a dentist. So I'm looking for a dentist in La Paz. So here's someone asking about teeth whitening, and be sure to look for things that are at least within the last 6 months or so. Businesses in Mexico turn over a lot, or they move around, things change. So be sure to look for something that's current. So you can see here 4 people have answered. Check out this person, great smiles. So you've got a number of different options, but these are all people who live in the town that you're looking at living in or currently living in, giving amazing advice to others. There's also a group for just Baja, Mexico. There's driving in Baja. So really search through Facebook because there's just wonderful groups of people who are doing what you want to do or what you're already doing that can provide lots of advice. There are groups that are specifically around being political. There is a conspiracy theorist group in La Paz for people who are on that side of the political spectrum. There's a buy, sell, and share group in La Paz. There's an events group in La Paz. So a number of different things that you can just kind of fall in with your people in whatever city. Ajijic has a lot of groups because they have a lot of expats there, but any kind of major city or even smaller city is going to have a Facebook group associated with it. So most of these groups are going to be in English for expats or gringos, but there are other groups that you should join that are mostly in Spanish. For instance, the little town that I live in is called Centenario. This one here, Centenario and Comitan Community Chat, I know that one's in English. This one is in Spanish, but there's some really helpful stuff here, and you can click on things and get a translation. So let me go down to something here. So we're seeing this person's answer. You can say see translation, and it's going to translate it over to English. And this works both on your computer and on your phone. So you can really get some of the more local information if you'd like it in some of these groups that are in Spanish. And that's the perfect opportunity for me to switch over to my wife's embarrassing story. So we moved down December 1st. So January 1st, my wife went on to one of the local groups and said, Feliz Año. And she meant Feliz Año, but she didn't know how to type the ñ on a keyboard. So a couple of people snickered and someone said, oh, you might want to make sure that you get the spelling right because Feliz Año means really happy anus. And so my 20-second lesson, I'm going to teach you how to type accents on your keyboard. And what I'm sharing today works great on an iPhone or an Android or a Mac. If you're on a PC, I guess go get a Mac because it's more complicated over there. But it's really pretty simple, and all you need to do is hold down whatever letter you need to put the accent over. So let's say it's an N, so I'm just going to push the N and hold it down for a second, and you can see multiple options show up. The ñ is 1, so I can click on the 1. Or same thing, let's type an I because sometimes those have accents. You can use your mouse to find the accent that you want. 3 is the one that's used in Mexico. And the same thing with an E or an A. Just hold that down. Like I said, works on your iPhone, works on your Android, works on your computer. And that way you can get your años to not be anos. And if you're ready to move to Mexico, check out this video up here about all the things we learned on our way down to Mexico.